Hello, and welcome to Reflections, episode 23, Big Bend, part 5. And here we go. So that is the window that we saw in the previous video. I believe it was part 2. We saw it from the other side, and this is looking
a different perspective.
That's what you're seeing the light go through. Look at that sunrise over the Chisos Mountains. It's very beautiful. We got one time lapse going right here, and I hope that looks good. We'll see. And I couldn't resist, but I set up a second time lapse over here, and I don't have 2 tripods, so this is what I did. So we have a rock here for stability, just to tilt it a little bit more. And then another rock, I don't know if you can see it, yeah, to keep it level. So yeah, so there you go. I think it's worth it. I've learned while editing, thought of, like, why am I pointing out the little things and like taking time to say this is cool, the thing I'm doing is cool. I think this is a reaction to, like, while we were here, I was a part of a system where work just goes towards another goal, and creative drive and all that stuff isn't really for you as an individual. It's for a greater purpose, and I feel like Go There Do That aligns with a greater purpose that I myself was able to define, for me, and it wasn't another definition that I was
given,
aligned with, Does that make sense? But I think this video, like this one, I'm starting to actually recognize. From the first part of this Big Bend video to now, I feel my confidence has gone up.
Yes.
Me 5 years ago, and less I guess anxious about how you will feel about things, because I feel like that's sort of what we were tense with in the beginning too. Right. Yeah, this is my favorite episode of the Big Bend series, because it's both of us finally relaxed and got comfortable, and you're more confident, and you can tell that in your shots, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. And I was very amazed with this drive, and shooting and editing both together, it makes it really interesting. So here we go. I think it's worth it. Big Bend, I remember thinking that drive I was like, I am amazed by everything I'm seeing all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like that drive was really cool too, because you wouldn't always make that drive just because Big Bend is so big. And so driving from like the Rio Grande Village area where we were all the way to like Santa Elena Canyon is pretty far. It's basically like one end of the park to the other. I mean, it probably took us like over an hour.
It's more than that.
Yeah. In doing that drive, you really like see Big Bend for like all it is. It's a very big place and it has lots of cool stuff to see. And then we were driving to the canyon, but we stopped at a little mini canyon on the way.
What, are we going in there? No?
No, I want to get to Santa Elena.
All right, let's go. Like, we wanted to do everything, but then you can't because it takes too long to drive anywhere. So I was like, do you want to do this trail? But then,
Yeah.
good decision. All right, let's go.
What if we just like went down like the last time? Just gonna run and go jump in my sleeping bag. Face plant.
That would have been precious. Reference to our story we told
Yeah.
in previous reflections.
In part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you said that until I came across the footage, so I think that's funny. If you're able to look at all the details and make these connections, then it'll make sense. You would have to watch reflections in order to understand that specific reference, but yeah. And then you start running again.
I was looking in the mirror to a saint or a sinner. One of us a runner and one of us a winner. Drawing names out of hats. I was this, I was that. I was fixed, I was broken. Asleep or awoken. You get the phone and I'll get the door. You hit the road and I'll hit the dance floor. You get the train and I'll get the tube. You get the wall and I'll break through.
We made a reference to Tom Rosenthal before, like on our way to Zion was when we were listening to him. He was really big in our
lives at this
yeah.
point, yes.
His lyrics were very good. But we were actually listening to that song while we were making this drive. So then I thought that was cool that I showed it and then showed the...
Yeah. Well, and I remember when we were like recording it, I was like, oh, can we use this song? Like, yeah.
We're not monetized.
Yeah.
So this video is no longer monetized. Even if it was, it wouldn't be. So
yeah.
That's it. Anyways.
Just a nod to an artist that we really enjoy and appreciate.
We made it to Santa Elena Canyon. What are you thinking?
Just enjoying the views on the way up. Got the pretty fall trees again.
This place is big. Just a second ago, I was really hot. So was Heather. And now that we're out of the sun, it's like super cold. You can tell the temperature gauges my nose and how red it is. That's not a sunburn, that's just my nose being cold. Heather's trying to stick it out.
I really want to get my hoodie back out, but I know that we'll be back in the sun in a bit.
Let's try that again. So just a second ago, I was really hot. And the temperature gauges my nose. You can tell how red it is. That's not a sunburn, that's just my nose being cold. Heather's trying to stick it out and not put her hoodie back on, but she may have to soon. I wouldn't blame her. I didn't bring any jacket.
Yep.
She doesn't do second takes. That's proof, I guess. That's really funny.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not doing any of this again. I already said it. But
yeah, I'm not going along with whatever's happening right now. Because, like, yeah, does that mean I have to listen to everything you say twice or however long it takes for you to, like, get it right? Like, let's just do this and it be real. Like, yeah.
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 I know we've talked about that before, but
yeah,
it's the slow emergence from like what we saw at Inks Lake versus now. Like, it has to be natural for you, and
yeah.
That's why I included both of them, because the difference is, you can tell.
Yeah, I was
you can
like,
tell.
I'll go along with the first one because it's just like us having a conversation. You know what I mean? Or like just explaining what we're doing. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to like put on a whole show. My first take was fine. You're on your own. Edit it together then.
The reason I had the reason I did the second take was because the first take's audio wasn't good, and so then I just included both of them and fixed the audio on the first one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's just more work.
Yeah.
But that's why I said let's try that again.
How did you know like the audio would be bad?
Because I clicked a setting on the microphone itself. It was like set to be quieter, because if there's like a lot of loud noises, you would want to turn it down, but it was already turned down.
Yeah.
And that can be done by mistake.
Right.
And it was. But it's okay, because now I can edit around that. But that's why I included both.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. It was time.
I couldn't take it.
You keep your lunch pretty cold in here. You could keep your lunch pretty cold in here. That's why I need 2 takes, because sometimes I mumble or don't articulate well, and that's something that I have worked on since I'm from West Texas, and that's just kind of
got a little drawl.
Then nobody can understand you. Did we just make it to the end? This is it?
Yeah, it's about 0.8 miles, so if it's 1.6 there and back, that makes sense.
Wow.
It's like the Narrows, but you're not walking through it to go as far as you want.
4 years ago, I came to this spot and I turned around. I wanted to share this moment with somebody special. And that somebody's here with us right now. Okay, so I'm gonna say this now. We're gonna be back here in a couple years.
What do you mean a couple?
In an undisclosed amount of time, we're gonna be back here.
Yeah.
That's a new promise we're gonna make. come back to Santa Elena Canyon. We're going to go down that way. So that's just a little tiny moment in this video, but beyond this specific instance, it is a very big deal to me, because if you've been along this little story journey that we've been telling, the Narrows was across like 4 years from when I went the first time to when we went together, and I didn't want to go without you. And so then when you brought up the Narrows, I was like, oh, I can do this now with you here and tell you. And so that's when I thought of like, we're doing this, I'm doing another promise, but with you. And so we've made references to Big Bend the time we go back, and that's the final perspectives and reflections.
Yeah.
Which I think is
like it will literally end at Santa Elena Canyon, because that was the last thing we did. Well, not the last thing we've ever did, but in the perspectives universe timeline.
Right.
That was the last thing that we did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we did go back. But yeah, it's funny to me too, because I was like, what do you mean like a couple of years? Like, to me, I was like, well, at this point too, we were like camping almost every weekend, and we'd done like two bigger trips, like to Zion and Big Bend within like a month of each other. And so I think in my head, I was like, what do you mean? Like, are we going to slow down? Years? It'll take us years to get back here. But yeah, it did take us years. It took us 3 years to get back there, and it was all well worth it. And we saw lots of cool stuff in between. That's why it took so long. I think Balanced Rock, the day before this, kind of like started to, reset me. But I remember like by this day, I was like feeling pretty good, like very glad that we were in Big Bend. A lot of my anxiety had like kind of fallen away. And I was actually there, like present. And I remember walking into the canyon, and it was just like incredible. Like, it's beautiful. And yeah, like I just remember feeling a lot of peace there. So I'm glad it kind of reflects.
Reflects what?
Like in the video you made. Like I remember,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, it's like definitely a good feeling to watch this back and know that we did keep our promise, because I think that was like a part of what kept you from editing for so long, is like if you would have edited this in like right after we got back from this trip, it just would have a whole different feeling and meaning than it does now. And I don't know, I guess everything happens for a reason,
Well, I had to be sure
Yeah.
I could do it.
Yeah.
And then now, as of recording this in June of 2025, in 2028, 3 years from this year, I will edit the next time we go back to Big Bend. I will have edited. So it's 3 years from now.
Yeah.
So now it's like a double. The promises just keep stacking. But after one is fulfilled, another is made.
Yeah.
So.
But now it's like having, like watching this back now at this point in our lives too, it's like I know that I can keep my promises to myself too, though.
That's what I was saying earlier with how, you're a part of something larger than yourself, which I see time as something that is bigger than us, because that's just something that we've made up. But this canyon has no concept of time. We're just like, how long has this been here? It's like longer than you can imagine. Literally, it's bigger than us. And so I think having this idea, we're like following. It's as straight and narrow as walking through the Santa Elena Canyon. It's like there's one way to do this, and we have to come back here. And I feel like Go There Do That is the thing that's like bigger than us. You know, so you have to like know what you're being a part of, like what you're striving towards, like that thing that you're feeding. Is it also feeding your soul? Or are you just giving, and then there's nothing that's like within you that's motivating you to do it? So I see Go There Do That as a very strong internal motivator. And I remember seeing this footage, but I didn't. It was before I started Perspectives and Reflections, and I was like, "This is." I said we were going to go back there, and we did, but I didn't quite know how to put it all together.
Yeah.
So I think the editing journey has to be just as long as the mental journey, the journey inside my head to figure out all these emotions and how I feel. And you're like, hey, yeah, I kind of feel that way too. It's peaceful. That's how I felt. To figure all that out. Now it's like we did this outer journey. Now I have to go inside my brain.
Right, which is what allows you to be able to edit it.
Yeah. That's what I'm feeling right now as I'm watching this with you. But
well, it's like two halves coming together, like shooting Ethan and editing Ethan. Yeah, and it's cool. It's cool to be like synced up in some ways to, who you were 4 years ago, but in like ways that you were proud of,
Yeah, because this past version of me was like, ain't no way I'm doing this right now. I'm not editing. I'm just capturing it. You have to worry about that later. And then me now understand it. I used to resent my past self for stacking so much and not knowing what was going to be done with it. Like until we went back to Big Bend, because that's when I kind of had it.
Right.
And I understood things. Well, we both understood things a little more clearly. Yeah. And then we walked out of the canyon and along the river. So we're going to start playing it now with sound. So we just went through Santa Elena Canyon right there. Then we just decided to walk on the river alongside Mexico right there. And that's it. That's what separates two countries. Just this little, some might call it a stream if they just saw this one part of it.
Yeah, on this part right here, if I was wearing shorts and my chacos, I could just like literally walk right over.
I think it's very important to see another country, in my opinion, just to be able to like walk around and it's like no different, like the land is no different.
Yeah, on the other side of the river, it looks just like it does on this side of the river.
Yeah. But this, going with the theme of things coming together, this feels like a lot of that happening too. Because Santa Elena Canyon is like separated by the Rio Grande.
Right.
And then it's like Mexico and Texas, literally. It's past us and present us. It feels like that's crazy how it is coming together. Yeah. You said, what did you say? You coming together? Two opposites?
Not opposites, just two halves.
Two halves? Yeah.
Like, yeah. You're a part of, you coming together is what makes the video, but then also like Santa Elena, a canyon isn't a canyon unless there's walls on either side, so, you know.
Yeah.
So you need both sides.
Exactly. Visual metaphors is all we're doing. It's all just visual metaphor. All right, you want to go to Terra Lingua now?
Yep.
I think that's the best thing about Big Bend, in my opinion, is it has something for everybody. It's a lot of driving, but that's pretty easy for some people. And then you have a short, like 1.6 mile hike.
Yeah,
Right.
to the end of the canyon.
Just to the end of the canyon. Well, not the end, but the stopping point, and it's beautiful the whole way. And there are several pull-offs on your way to the canyon itself, and that's what we were doing here. That was also that old brick building that we saw. That was just a random pull-off, but
Even the Tough Canyon Trail.
in the yeah. So that's what you're seeing here, even though we aren't explaining it. But this is like probably one of the better views you can have of it. I can't explain the cow. He never said why he was there.
Yeah.
We just saw him, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. We were very entertained by him. Or, I guess, I don't know what it was.
I would say him.
Okay.
So Terra Lingua was just a place we ate at.
It's not like Terra Lingua is a big town either, but we'll get like kind of towns, like surrounding towns recommended to us whenever we're visiting somewhere. And then we always like try to check them out and stuff. But then I've noticed that most of the time we're kind of like, not even necessarily disappointed. It's just that like we'd rather spend our time in the naturey part, even though they're cool little towns with like a lot of character and everything, but I just would rather be in the canyon.
We're there to be with
the place. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is our last night in Big Bend.
Yeah.
So we are trying to chase this beautiful sunset back to our campsite so that we can experience that Big Bend sunset one last time.
Yeah, but we started in Terra Lingua.
Yeah, so it's taken us a minute, but I think we might make it.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah, so that was beautiful.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I think it's so cool how you can see like the reflection of the sunset in the river. Yeah. Yeah.
That's an important spot. Yeah.
Yep.
In the Rio Grande Village is where that was. How's it going?
It's terrifying.
It's our last night here, and it is very windy. Okay, it died down a little. For a second, it sounded like somebody was breaking into our tent. I hope the stakes hold up. So it is almost 1 a.m. and we decided to pack up our tent and sleep in the car because the tent was literally breaking around us. Like, we have some bent tent poles and a broken rain fly. So maybe next time we come to Big Bend, we'll know. Still a eventful last night.
Yeah.
You not enthused?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that was intense. Like we did have to get a new tent after that. It was broken beyond repair, but luckily REI has a great return policy, so we switched it out. But yeah, that definitely was a rough night. Well, because we were trying to, like, kind of hoping the wind would die down, and so trying to sleep, but there was just no way. I was like, I'm not going to sleep in here. And then plus I was like, I think it's gonna, I didn't realize at that point that the tent was already like broken. So I was like, we should pack it up so that it doesn't get broken. And then we kind of like found some stuff as we were packing it up, but yeah, in the pitch black. But also we like got up the next morning and there was literally tents in trees, like smaller tents, like ours would be pretty big to wind up in a tree, but there was, yeah, like stuff everywhere, tents and trees. So it was a pretty windy night.
And then during the sunset, you twisted your ankle.
Yes.
That sunset video. So at some point.
Yeah, I think it was when we were heading back to the campsite. Like we were done with the sunset, the time lapses and stuff, and on that the area with like the steps, I just missed one, I guess, and I twisted my ankle. It did wind up being sprained, but I didn't know that at that point. But yeah, it didn't feel very good, but it was also the last day, so it was like, okay, well, I guess if it's gonna happen, at least it was now. But yeah, also sleeping in the car wasn't very comfortable because I was like sleeping in the driver's side, and so like I couldn't prop up. I think maybe I tried to prop up my leg like on the dashboard and stuff, but it was really hard to get comfortable. Did not sleep well.
You can't.
For sure. Yeah.
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 So, yeah, I didn't know how bad you were hurting.
I know. I never.
This is your second fall of this single trip.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I didn't know how bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have a decently high pain tolerance.
We couldn't do this if you just keep hurting yourself either. That was a big one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Stop being clumsy.
Yeah. This explains why she is limping.
Limping around.
Why? Don't be mean. What?
Limping.
Apparently I'm not as coordinated as I think I am. Because I twisted my ankle really bad yesterday. But not gonna let it ruin the trip.
Also, we went back to the Chisos Mountains
Yes.
that morning.
We did. We were like, we're going to try to... Well, because we went back to see if, like, maybe we could catch a bear. So we did go early. Like, kind of near sunrise. And we were determined to just hang out as long as we could until it was time for us to go. But, yeah, we were wanting every last little bit
Yeah.
from it. But I think originally I was like, we could try to hike a bit, but then we wound up just needing to stay on the like paved trail by the visitor center, so we didn't have a great chance at seeing bears. But yeah, so I kind of held us back with my ankle, but I tried.
Didn't hold anything back. What we got was incredible.
The trip.
That's why I say our final moment, because what I try to do is edit with the editing skills I have, but from like the perspective of feelings of past me. And so I didn't know if we were coming back here. And so obviously it's like, well, why would you go back to the Chisos that morning if you planned to go back anyways? It's because
weren't
I
sure, yeah.
legitimately didn't know what would happen. Because the things that we were kind of afraid of whenever we first arrived, like it was really cold, or it was our tent.
Yeah, we were worried about the wind.
Yes.
We were worried about it being cold. It was our first time like tent camping in kind of more I don't want to say extreme conditions, but it's not like Big Bend is really extreme, but it was more extreme than we were used to. And yeah.
But you go from, in the Chisos, that's why this morning is so important, because you go from being scared of bears, anxious of bears, and then you're literally like, I am not going to let it ruin these last final moments. Like, I'm limping, but like, we're here to see a bear, Heather.
Yeah.
Like, you're not scared anymore is what I mean.
Right. Well, it's because when we do stuff like that, it's like easier to find my way back to myself. And I'm not a very scared person.
But it wasn't that long. It was
Yeah.
like 20, how many days? It was just
Well, it's five parts,
parts.
so 5 days. Yeah.
5 days.
Yeah.
In that stretch of time. You went from, I don't know, I'm really scared.
I don't know if we should be here.
Yes.
I'm scared, yeah.
Yes.
So let's go see if we can catch some bears before we leave.
Yes.
With my sprained ankle. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to notice the little minor
Yeah.
attitude differences, but this one is kind of
Yeah,
both.
part 1 Heather compared to part 5 Heather is like, they barely know each other.
That's what I mean. 5 days.
Yeah.
Not saying it takes 5 days to solve all your problems.
Right.
But it took 5 days to go from one state of mind to another.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
anything else?
I don't know. I feel like there should be something else because it's like the last of Big Bend, and it feels like a big deal, but I can't think of anything right now. I guess I feel pleased with what I've said.
Yeah.
Like it was enough. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about this a lot, but then I know that talking about like the importance and emphasizing it is great. But I think my next challenge comes from getting there again. You know?
Yeah, like getting to our second time in Big Bend. So the next 3 years of editing.
So that's like, I don't know, Reflections is now involved with making a promise. The third promise made.
I feel like, we kind of made the promise when we started, because why would we start if we're just going to fizzle out?
Why would you do anything if you were just not going to finish? You know?
Yeah.
A lot of things are started and not finished. I've been scared of this being that
for as long as we've been doing it.
A long time.
Yeah.
This is just the one that made me kind of realize that in 2028, we would technically have started this whole thing video-wise. In 2016 was when I first went to Zion and turned around. So that would be 12 years. The whole perspectives, reflections type of thing, like this little section.
Yeah, like building up for 12 years.
Yeah. It's a big one. This video is a big one. And I will emphasize it over the next 3 years. So, thank you everybody for watching. Go there, do that.